What are they waiting for? Why is there no GRAP 3 just yet? Are we better or worse? What's happening in the hospitals? Let's try and get answers to all those questions. First up, let's see the impact of AQI to your health directly if you're one of those who are not convinced just yet. Joining me now is Dr. Ashok Seth, Chairman of Fortis Escorts Health Institute in the National Capital. Can't think of a better name to give us a perspective on things as well. Dr. Seth, my first question to you is this. Are we at a point of no return with what is happening with AQI and what it does to our bodies? Are we now going to see a generation of kids who will have lungs and other body organs not fully formed because of air pollution?
So, firstly, commendable that you bring up such important points for the public and for our health. The second aspect is this very straight question that you've really pointedly asked. Do I have a hope? I don't have a hope. Years after years after year, we've seen pollutions rise. And fascinatingly, the blame game continues on and on as to what is the cause of the pollution, but there's still nothing done about it. We talk about the health of the nation. Can you believe that we just talk about pollution this month? Actually, for the whole of the year, we live in unhealthy. It only becomes hazardous at this time. Hazardous means that we now are in a gas chamber. We were anyway, have been throughout the year in bad pollution, which in the West would have been considered unsafe. Even our best days are considered unsafe for the West. And you know, we talk about increase in heart disease, and we look at causes for heart disease, and we tell the whole population to exercise. One of the biggest causes of increase of heart disease and heart attacks in this country has actually been the pollution. And this pollution, by the way, does not just exist in big cities. Go down to even smaller towns, it exists. I think there is a lack of will and a lack of enforcement and a lack of it becoming a national agenda. Why shouldn't it be a national agenda? How many countries do you have in your mind where you go and it's polluted? I can name those countries, or perhaps there are only 20 countries across the world like ours in terms of pollution. Anywhere you go to the whole of Africa, you go to the whole of Europe, you go to the whole of even Asia Pacific, and you have clean air to breathe. I just can't understand why we as a nation just continue to live when at this time the heart attacks have increased by 200%. We had twice more heart attacks. There are people getting admitted with strokes. There are clearly elderly being affected with chest infections and pneumonias. We are dying. And you're right. What is going to happen to our children who anyway are developing asthma, bronchitis, pneumonias, and they're going to have bad lungs for time to come? We talk about so many big things, and yet this is the most important thing, most important hazard that we face. Especially, of course, in big metro cities, we face it all the time. Think of those young people who are on the streets, doing their job, meeting their deadlines in a motorcycle and in a scooter. We have a lot more to do because it's our own children who probably will suffer from such bad lung, heart, and brain conditions in times to come that we will one day be saying, gosh, we wish we had better air to breathe. We have every luxury, fine. We can provide every system to most of our population. We say majority of our population is now insured against for their health. But are they insured against the air that we breathe? Are they insured for just clean, nice environment and air? They're not. And I think we therefore... There is no intent.
I agree with that. There is no intent. I understand that. I completely echo your sentiment as well. But like I said, I'm feeling pretty helpless. We've been covering the air pollution story for at least a decade now.
Yes.
It started with the petition at the Supreme Court. Kids had petitioned. That's when GRAP guidelines came in. That's when we thought we had moved forward. But this year seems to be a different story. I want to understand from you, in what you're seeing in your own OPD, what you're hearing in the medical fraternity, is this year better or worse say, compared to the past 5 years that you've seen? Because I understand the impact of sustained toxic air, that cumulative impact is also building up. But this year particularly, is it better or worse?
It's very difficult to actually say that unless we methodically analyze every data of our patient input. What we can say is that we certainly suffering, at least I can personally say, that I'm more worried and scared this year than I was in the previous years. The pollution just seems to be overwhelming, even for me, even for my parents on an individual basis, my father who's elderly, for all of us. If I stand outside, my eyes hurt. I was yesterday on a personal basis just on a phone, and the signal drops in my home. So I stood outside at 8 o'clock just talking on the phone, and by the time I was entering the house, my eyes were hurting. And that had never happened to me earlier, and it was so surprising, and that's when I realized that is so dangerous to even stand outside for half an hour in outside home. So yes, we can't say it unless we have statistics. I don't want to claim that we have statistics. We're seeing a lot of patients. We're seeing it worsening. We see it every, but I think year after year, it's been only worse. I don't recall a better day than the previous year or a worse, a better year than the previous year. I only recall worse after year is worse year after year after year.
Dr. Seth, your words are powerful. I think they have a lot of meaning, and I really hope it reaches those who can actually bring an impact. When we can land Indians on the moon, when we can go and do some crazy stuff in space, when we have the tech to ensure that, robotics is taking over in medicine and other fields as well. Why can't we solve the problem of air pollution? I think that's what's very, very, very disturbing. And on your issue, and on that issue that you said of statistics, the Lancet report, I think, makes it very, very clear. Linking air pollution to deaths now across the globe, especially here in India, to doctors now saying that you live in polluted air, you are at a high risk category. I think we can't get more clear than that. And I think it's appalling that we have to continue to do show after show, year after year, month after month, to try and raise this matter and not get any visible solution on this one. I thank Dr. Seth for joining us with his valuable time on this very important story. But who can bring an impact? Let's cut across to that person now. Delhi's